Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome to this episode of How to Build Threads from Scratch. In the previous episode, we went over text authentication through Supabase and using Twilio Verify. And this one, we're actually going to clean up this sign-up flow and then use some keyboard voting view to make this look a lot nicer. We're going to integrate React Native SVGs, so we're going to import an actual Threads logo to make it look a little bit more legit. And then we're going to store the session token. So actually we're going to start off with that. So in the previous one, we had signed in, we put in the code, we click verify, and then we get this huge object with a session access token. There's a bunch of information in here. The provider confirmed that. And what we are going to eventually going to do is we're going to use some of this information, but we're going to end up using our own user that we're going to create in the database, probably in the next episode. But right now, every single time we reload the app, it forces us to go back to this sign-in screen. So this is definitely not what we want because, like I said previously, it is expensive using Twilio every single time to verify. So we want to extend this session token. And right now, actually, the session token does exist, but we're not doing anything with it. So if we go back to the Supabase documentation, in the login flow, they're using sign up with email and then username and password. But every single sign up method has this access to supabase.auth.getSession. And you can see that like there's getSession and then onState auths changed. So each one of these gets called when there's a change in the session. So that would mean if they log in, there's no session, and then before they log in, there's no session. Then they log in, then there's this session token. And so we can get access to this session token without having to force the user to log in every single time. And we're going to copy and paste this. And we're going to put it in our auth provider. I know we created our auth provider. Last episode, we didn't really add much to it. That's super basic. But we're going to start adding to this as we add more variables to the user itself. So let's fix some of these errors. And then import from Supabase. Okay, so now we have our session. It's just the session TypeScript from Supabase, get session, set session. And let's just log in each one of these. And we don't actually need to pass it down, so we're just going to call it in here. And you can see as soon as I reloaded, you can see, let's actually add something else here. Console log, all state changed, and get session. So let's reload again. And we can see all state changed and get session. So both of these are actually getting called. So, and they return the same exact object. So we could get the session token without having to force them to log in every single time and then start adding up the cost of the text. So with this session, we have it stored. So that's step one. The next thing we want to do is actually redirect the user once they do have the session because they're logged in. We don't want to keep them on this page. So what we could do is let's just create a new function. Technically, we're going to eventually create this function called getUser, and it's going to get a user that is in the database table that we didn't create just yet. But for right now, we're just going to create some of the logic to be able to see if that session exists and then do something about it. So if session, eventually we're going to do get the user from the database, and then this is going to set user with the user from the database, and then we want to do router.push home. So this doesn't exist here just yet, so we want to create that. Okay, and then let's just log getting user, pass in the session token. In here. There we go. Okay, so we don't want to go to/home, we want to, let's go back to the app, and we want to go to tabs. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now as soon as if they're already logged in, it'll go to directly to the home page. So that's exactly what we want. But to test this again, we could actually put out a log out button now. So let's do const log out supabase.auth.signout, and then we want to do that. And then this one we actually do want to pass down so that we could call it probably on the profile page. So we could add a basic button to the profile page. Let's go to profile index. Let's do button. Remember, we have to add the button text. Don't forget that part. And then we got to import useauth to log out. And then if we come here, we can see this log out button. So on this log out button, we're going to sign out, which actually clears the session token, and then push back home. So let's try that out. And there we go. And then if we reload this time, since we cleared the session token, it keeps us on the login page. And then once we log in again, it'll allow us to log in and log out. Okay, so now we have super basic. Let's remove this one. We have a super basic functionality to log in and log out. Next thing we want to do is make this a lot prettier because this is super ugly. So what I did before, since this login flow has multiple pages, right now there's first page is entering your phone number, second page is entering OTP code, third page, if you don't already have a user, is create that username, and then you could add as many pages as you want because every big app has a sign up flow that kind of explains the app and makes it more clear and of what the app does, and get them to do things of like, okay, share the location if you need a location for something. Enable notifications, so you could add it to this auth flow because you could track when they first sign up versus when they sign in. You could skip all that stuff. So what I did was I created a new folder or a new file called layout, and let's copy and paste this super basic site. Okay, in this layout, we're going to pass in the children. And then we're going to wrap this whole thing so in each step there requires a keyboard, and so we're going to use the keyboard avoiding view, and then we're going to pass in a header as well with a logo. So first things first, let's wrap this in layout, import it. And that way we could see if we do text, because now that's using this layout. Actually, I want to call this, you could call it auth layout. Actually, this is fine for now. So first thing we want to do is add icon. So just to make it look a little cooler, I added this threads icon, so the SVG. So we do have to add React Native SVG first. So we're going to do npm I React Native SVG. If you ever worked with SVGs before, it's going to look very similar, but in a regular SVG, the first one, the first letter is always lowercase. So this is what it actually, a real SVG looks like, and you could see it doesn't have a color. So if some of the cases are camel case with React Native SVG where they're not in regular SVGs. So it is a little different, the format, and then you have to import it from SVG and then path, and this just converts it into a normal SVG that React Native can actually render. So remember, we installed it. Let's restart our application. And let's go back to this layout. So we're going to show this logo on each step. So that's going to be consistent. And we're going to show the same button on the bottom on each step. And then in the middle is going to be the children. So we want to put a header on top here, and we want to put a footer or so on the bottom, which has, we could pass in whatever functionality we want, but at least we have a consistent look and feel through each step. So let's do import threads icon from assets, and then import the icon, and wait it forever for it to load. Let's create an H-stack. So this is from GlueStack. H-stack stacks things horizontally. A V-stack stacks things vertically. It's a lot more simpler. Okay, so components UI H-stack. So we could see, oh, actually we do want a V-stack. So this is a different import. There we go. And then in here, we want to align items center. I didn't know that actually worked, actually. What I've been doing before is just doing class name, item center. And then we can put a size. So in our threads icon, we pass in a size. The default is 75. So you can set it to 50 if you want to make it a little smaller. Here we want to do text black. And then maybe just XL. Yeah, that looks good, I think. Sweet. Okay. Then we want to put another one below. And we want to do a button. Hopefully you're getting used to this formatting with button. Oh wait, I'm already importing it. Okay. Wait, why do I have two buttons? Oh, because I have this button. So what we want to do is pass in a handle on press, actually. On press, we want to do this. We're going to pass it in and remove this. So now it's yelling at us because this doesn't exist on this layout function just yet. So we could pass in, we could create a new one on press and pass it in. So that's how we could have different functionality on each page, but keep the same look and feel. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to put this button at the bottom and then use keyboard avoiding view to move the items around. So you'll see what that looks like in a second. If we go to keyboard avoiding view, we have a couple of components that are required. So we have keyboard avoiding view and then touchable feedback to dismiss it. So let's just copy and paste this for now and put it, I think we want to put it inside actually. And let's import it from React Native. We also have to import platform because the platform, iOS and Android, do react differently. Oh, let's consolidate these. Remove that. Okay. And then styles.container. It was being defined as flex1. Okay, so we'll just do flex1. I don't think class name works on this. I'll try that in a second, actually. So keep in mind that class name for types for native script doesn't actually work on all components. But we could test it out to see how it runs here. So children. Okay, so we need to put a view. So let's do VStack. And the cool thing with this is you could see that you could kind of infinitely stack like a VStack, H-stack, however you want things to be aligned. We're going to do justify between. And maybe it's not flex1. Let's do H full and then V full. Or what is it? Height and width. That. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we have the layout we want. We have this header part, which is basically right here. And then we have the footer part, which is the button. And then we have the children. So we could each page we could do something different, and you can see like I like the animation here where you can click on the input field and it moves the button up automatically. So that's what keyboard forwarding view is. And then it also moves up the text field. So it just like has like a nice little animation to it. And then if we go, what else do we want to do? Let's put, to make this a little bit more clear, we need a text. Enter your phone number. Let's remove these items that we're not using anymore. Oof. So since layout is treating each one of these items as justify between, we want to put this one in another VStack. Yes. And then import VStack. Yep, there we go. Let's indent this. Indent. Okay. Justify center. I don't know if I need. Yeah, there we go. I don't think I need either one of these actually. Yeah. But let's put space MD. So space, you could see space. This space element has up as a prop on both VStack and HStack. And for VStack, it does space in between the text, so each one of the items. So it's almost like gap. And then we're going to do class name. Let's put some margin. The problem with margin, it doesn't always work the way. No, there we go. P3. Yeah, that works. Okay. So looks a lot nicer. And it has a cool little animation. On the layout, we want this button a little bit bigger. Variance size. Yeah, that works. And then we don't need threads. So there we go. So now this layout should show on every page that we put it in. So we have it on here, but we want to put it on the verify step as well. Oh. And then let's import it. Handle verify. And phone pad button. We can remove that. And remember, we need to put this in a VStack as well. Actually, what we could do, we could just put this VStack in the layout if we wanted. Yeah, let's do that. Just to consolidate, because we wanted to keep the consistency throughout. So if we accidentally put padding 3 for one, padding 2 for the other, it might look a little off. Instead, we could just pass it in. And the whole point here is to make everything look, keep it consistent. Okay. Next thing we want to do is, actually let's copy some of this over to the set, or the username one as well, because we're going to eventually need to do that anyway. It's still going to have an input name, enter, or enter username. It's going to be a regular keyboard type, so we don't need to do that. Let's remove all of this. Set username, and then let's create an empty function right now. Const handle username, and just log it. Yeah. Okay. So we got verify, username, index, all consistent look and feel. Next thing we're going to do is, right now on verify, we actually only have a plain input field. But there is a library that I do want to use that will automatically take in that code from the text message, input it, and have like the separate boxes. So instead of me trying to explain it, let's go to the library. We could see like this, it has like the little area, and it works both on iOS and Android. So this is exactly what it does. This is from the trial account as well. So this is a good example. Also, let's install that. And then basic usage, put it in here. And remember, let's remember to reset. And it has like a bunch of different things. Auto focus on land. And you could automatically input it. Code filled. So let's just do this one. And we'll comment out this one for now. And it's going to be 6 digits actually. And then styles.underline_base. Let's see what kind of styles they have. Width, height, border color. Okay. We could just remove them for now. And we can see on code changed. And then on code filled. We could do handle verify, I think. So let's restart. We should have our full sign up flow. The next step after this should just be creating a username, and for that one we'll have to create a new table. We don't have any tables right now, so we're going to get into Prisma next. But let's just make sure this flow looks as we want. So right now we click on it, and nothing's happening right now because remember you have to do Command K. Once we start using our keyboard, it disables the this input. So we do 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2, and then click sign up, and there we go. We have our nice verify, although the verify is all the way at the top. Why? We have layout. Okay, either way. And then the code is 1 2. Oof. So we're gonna have to style that a little bit. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Border. There we go. Looks a lot nicer. Still can't see the damn input though. Oh, text. Let's do text or color, black. Okay, much better. Still the same error, but we have the flow that we want. And then the sign up. We don't want that on every page. So we do have to do on press, and then let's do button text. Okay. And then we have to do on here button text, sign in, and I think we want this button to default with too. Okay, there we go. And then rounded XL. Looking better. Okay, so there we go. We have our new layout. We have, let's remove some things that we're not using. We have our sign in, verify. In the next one, we need this one needs a button. Next, enter username. Let's do create account. And then verify needs 1 2. Okay, so now we have each step in the flow. We could add more pages or whatever we want. because we have this layout that is flexible. It could pass into the children, whatever button we want with the title. And then I want to do one more thing actually. I want to put a menu up here so we can go back. So let's say we never get the text message. You're kind of stuck on that page unless there's a back button. So we're going to do an H stack. No. We'll just put back for now. And I'm going to copy and paste this button. Button text is going to be back. And then on press is going to be router dot back. Oof, that's not what I want. Variant. I think variant is a link. Ooh. Do not want it full width. We want justify between. And then let's add some more padding. And let's put, here we go. Okay. We could replace these once we actually get some icons. We could replace these. And then if we do 555, 555, 555, and then we could go back. So that's helpful. Let's just put, we don't need next because we already have sign in, so we could do just an empty view. Yeah, okay. Awesome. So we could definitely keep making this look nicer, but we have a good start. And in the next episode, we're going to create a user table so that once we do log in, we could actually create that user, add it to the table, and then start calling some of this functionality or add like an actual functionality here to set the user so that we could use that user throughout the whole app experience. So hope you join me for the next one and see you next time. Peace.